September bosomene de toso miensa ebusia enumere memwajo emwa kwaba edeba Ctv Kasiebo eso enumere so ensama yensa asuswesi yememu aso eni ajebre eberisa ede amause Ctv enumere bremu nonsia Kasiebo hye so se Kasiebo yi efiatna ekesiemu ewo enkran eye labone eni ede eto bia na wo sori Kasie no so a Facebook and also YouTube, my Ctv GH like. Obi anu ato edi amane wo yo. Ensam no edoso enumre. De bedi mo akotini bi eni. Yabako emashebedwemu na ababeto dwase emashebedwafo eko asetena sononko bi enam so ema wonum de nsama hudo na ye ekoso ewo memu ya wonum kyese hu hia pa edi ababeto dwade a wonwo wom ene se busie bi eka ho. O'Reilly Senior High School ababeto dwase esuafo mienu bi edi nkomo enam so ema akwakoya wo semie papa baako awone yonko ama sabri ya yekasa die wafrimu yayaya wojadie ensem emuno eye vadog wonmu chairman edi atudwase enen no import duties no ne bo no ekosuru ye papa ha wonmu anase egu wonmu dwa bebre. Empenifo echere se bibi mai ene wo hwe GDP na eya climate change anase ewiem nsachiraye ensem ene nam so ema wonum GDP no akwakogina eye 5%. Ensem weika afufro bi ehomedofo meso bre na ensem no yeresandi na efa emaution so sedwedie egom wo bi manso nsem nso eka ho ebie enuremu somfo yeme Lateefa Akuffo memoajo. Asiadia na yeko emashebedwemu na emashebedwafo eko asetena sono so ema wonmu bobo nsema ha bomeyi ehu wonmu bobo nkane ansem so sanso ena eye enwane ho nsema eye akwatwe a wonmu kyese womo ewo eye tifiduma wonmu kodofuo no eye climate change nti na so ema sa dry season we aha wonmu pa ensem no ebini.
Honorable members, many of the issues you raised, if we were all focused, they wouldn't have arisen. But because we are working in silos and not listening to each other, we are facing this crisis. We had a program called Planting for Food and Jobs. All of a sudden, we're having challenges with food security. But this same house used to tout the success of the program. What are we saying today? Please, spare me that trouble. Honorable members, I could see some issues concerning the electoral process. And we initiated efforts here together. And as Speaker, I decided to lead. As a result of that, we even got the public involved, and we initiated the Democracy Cup. We're all at the Accra Sports Stadium. We saw what happened. The team of all what we're doing was working together, building trust for a free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections, the role of stakeholders. Many of you are not showing any interest. Over the weekend, I had to lead a team to Tamale, and the lectures there were very useful. How many of you attended? Leadership never showed up, even though invited. These things you are saying were all mentioned there. There was time for the public to ask questions. They asked these questions concerning your constituencies. Your constituents were there asking these questions of the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission was represented at the highest level. And so if you decide to work in silos and not listen to each other, we always have these problems. We are not talking about people coming to play politics or whatever. No.
Yeah, that's why I was a Marshal Bejomudiana and they know a Dr. Ctv Akuffo Edin Sembi Atuja, Ewa Wanumu Enshe Muna Ase. And some are working and it's one munya crado, a year Domkumano, so one mubes sign us, Wabefua, a year tax waiver beer, so and some no say and now Ochiremu.
Mr. Speaker, this recall comes barely 95 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. This recall has indeed been triggered by the MPP majority and is to enable them fast track and railroad tax giveaways to their crony businesses. Right Honorable Speaker, let me state without any equivocation that the NDC minority has not changed our position on these tax exemptions. We have always maintained that these tax exemptions are not in the best interest of the ordinary Ghanaian. Our position has always been and still remains that they should convert these tax exemptions into tax credit and otherwise maybe linked these tax exemptions into equity shares as stipulated in the Tax Exemptions Act. We will not support a giveaway of $350 million to crony businesses in a very opaque and untransparent manner. Right, Honorable Speaker, giving away tax exemptions in excess of $350 million is not an urgent issue that should warrant a recall. Ghana's economy is bleeding. Cost of living continues to be high, and the Ghanaian can simply not make ends meet. These are the bread and butter issues that should concern any serious government and not the giveaway of much needed tax revenues.
Not too much Bejeni a Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Etrese Galamseno, a Hadjuni ye papa, a sayens for any yensase, Yakwaya Woodwinano, a Hadjuni a Webea, Company 4 and Passuchi Modern Pa, FMasa Fono.
To Order 91-2. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to come under this window and make a special appeal to you to consider inviting particularly the Ministers for Environment and Water Resources on the current threat of Galamsey. The Ghana Water Limited has issued statements over the last few days that they are now finding it very difficult to process water. Indeed, in the central region, Mr. Speaker, they report that the Pra River is totally polluted and the turbidity levels have gone beyond 14,000 NTU, which is far, far higher than the acceptable levels of about 2,000 NTU. And so they are now rationing water. There are water shortages in many, many communities in the central region. And Mr. Speaker, beyond the central region, it is now affecting even the capital and other parts of our country. So we face an existential threat. The Ghana Water is saying that within the next 2-3 years, if the trend continues, they may have to import water. Mr. Speaker, that is how dire the situation is. So I want to appeal to your good self, Right Honourable Speaker, if you can direct that before we rise, these 2 days is good time to get the ministers responsible for the environment and for Sanitation and Water Resources to appear before us.
Yenina Emma Shabejamu Wana, Yantua and Samuno Esom. Now, on for Haruna Idris Maleta South, Marsha Bedrini, Ede Sama to Justice Sabria, Yakika Eko, Abato Breya, Nesano, Wabesre, Sanke Bayan Company, Fon Shena, Abefun Fidia Woodwa, Yade Ebatua Bano, what order to pa, and for one as a Winshu.
As we are speaking, maybe the committee responsible for the Electoral Commission or your good self may want to invite her. Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission has 75,000 biometric devices which will be used for purpose of conducting the presidential and parliamentary elections on December 7th. Mr. Speaker, those biometric devices, we have to subject it to some technical audit. One, to know the state of their batteries. Two, the state of their adapters. Three, the state of their readiness for elections on 7th December. And we will require the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to come and notify this House how ready the biometric devices are, how ready are their batteries together with their adapters. My information is that they will need to recheck all the batteries, because you don't want a situation where on election day 7th December we are told that you should transit to manual system. We want the system to work. The functionality, the efficacy of its batteries are important. I understand that they will need money to acquire more than 5,000. I mean, you cannot have devices of 75,000, and when you are acquiring batteries, you are talking of 5,000. It should be 25,000 or even half of it. So, Mr. Speaker, the committee responsible for the Electoral Commission will have to engage her, and we know what are the financial gaps of the commission.
Johnson Asiedu Enketia, NDC National Chairman, Etrese Afi about 20 NPP, and NDC, one of the Wunisa will be a Eko Amaneho.
NDC Amanyuko mini rally bi awoye ye maame krobo ye no wokro from Plain South mens na ewo poe mantemu ase na ora Johnson Asiedu Enketia ede to dwase amammo bone ama NPP Amanyuko no ede Ghana eko na chikra ama hia ne nkwankom na ekumo manfo na Ghana fo hu ne semfie mpenu ne aduonu nan abato ye ayebeto yi December 7th enye NDC ana NPP Amanyuko ne na enya nemum eye ko a Ghana fo eba abeko na waje wo honum fa hodie afri nkwasom a NPP Amanyuko no edi omen akwakọ mu odi adesrede eto won eto aba ewo Afram Plain South se won to aba emfama onuamfo Joseph Apiabo aten na won kai mampanyi dada Dramani Mahama don se wonom enekite ni swade hunu papa obetimi abo akuro no ene oman no empuntu
and say MPP abai abasa oman babia mega Nigeria ya say ya chiba semfia piasa anuti avanto a ebe kosu enye MPP NDC ade a yeko ni aje efa ahudi a etosu mielu so bibeti be to abaya free so a NDC ene be to abaya free
Emrashibedwani onuamfo Joseph Apiabo aten akasa akire se eye nimsemi omanfo nyina anim se wobakọ wa Afram Plains ana Afram Plains South mpotem ho no empuntu abon se ne adwunso abo akokọ obusemu a omu ye NDC fo nti NPP abaye etisu mpese obema mpuntu ba akumpo atrɛtrɛ akɔhɔ eno na ama wonom awiewie sa amwakoni edu ede besisisebre nanso so omanfo betumi ato aba na wayi mampanyi dada Dramani Mahama wakai wono Apiabo aten a enkampuntu obebuso emfiempino ene aduonunum ekɔnanim
yemi aso yemi kan say na mi shamo ne masofo yemi so ayebo paese President Mahama be na power na me so na power na say we see school yenu so secondary school as a matter of problem na me see school na me so ka boy na and say like to walk, my big number. And so we sent to pipe or so we say, in the English, you got and you'll be the
Krantina botan di crew na nasi edu akra enso ekasa editor onyamfo Johnson Sidun Ketianim se empotem ho omu hia kuntudwuma bebre nanso ade ba ko hia wonum a eye animu animu ade eye bridge nsamso a ebetimi ama akoniaba aye toten na waken obeyema wonum a obeto aba na ma no nemom we fi wo mu a omonso nya ade a woto aba no ne okena ka ho bie
Madisradia and Madiadia and the side. Madame Yakratia would tell the crew. The baby idea of Penny. Yamin say, Yanikania, Yanin slow, Yaniti compound, Yani Bibia or Kratia would time. I know the air high, but I can't high in the side. And so be the hard, of you trouble, ever Kratia would time. Now for Kratia would tell what he has here. Yani Bridge, I don't need this idea. I'm in to NDC about anim. I say, Yadi Tasso, as I say, Kratia Botano, I am grown song, and I show myself Kratia Botano.
Yatwaso ewo Encrimente Mudiana O'Reilly Senior High School and Ababeto just say a final year student awenya Fisher edu watching wano enacha se wane no yonko edi echinye wano motere se nipa kwa ne papa ewo sika pa ese no yonko eno namso ema baako ewo ne yonko sika masabri ya kasa die abemwanu wefimu ya we akwakoye arehusem ye papa ne senti ne papa edi ni breko akwako bie suku ho no mu a empanimfo nso ma ne kwan ema ne wemu.
It was yesterday. I see my boy off to come to school. So I wanted to go to work. So I'm at work and my niece called me that Edward is having misunderstanding. One of the students is having misunderstanding with Edward. So I should come. And so I asked her that, are there no teachers at the school? And she said the teachers are not sitting there unconcerned. And what is happening is unfair, so I should come. So I said, okay, then I'm coming. So on my way, when I got to the motorway, she called that the boy that is fighting with Edward have stabbed Edward, lying down at the school premises, breathing, and the teachers are still sitting unconcerned. I said, wow. Then I said, I'm coming. So on my way when I get to Kotobabi, she called again that there's the students have gathered themselves and pick him up. So they are going to Lekma. So I should rather come to Lekma and meet them there. So when I drove and I reached Lekma, I went to the emergency. The doctor said Edward had passed away. And that is it. So when they showed me the body, the boy stabbed him 3 times on his chest. So that led him to his death. That's all.
What have the school authorities been telling you?
The school authority have not said anything from yesterday up to now. The police have not caught, the school authority have not caught. Even the boy who killed my son, none of the family have even reached me. That's why we are here to seek for justice for my son.
What intentions do you have going forward?
We want access from the school. From the school authority.
The parent of the boy.
And the parent of the boy and the police. What happened? I just want to know what happened. To the extent of leading to a student stabbing his friend.
Is that such a punishment?
That's all we want. We want the justice. And we want the school authority to explain to us. Either the teachers are not at the school and it happened, or they are there and it happened, or they don't care. That is all we want. We want access from the school authority. That's all we want.
So you've come here a day after the incident. Have you been able to go into the school to engage anybody?
They have bring policemen to block every gate, stopping us to even go in. I don't think you, the media, you giving they allow you to go in there. They put policemen here. They not allow anyone in there. Nobody is ready to come out to even what? Talk to us. So that is why we are here.
That's the most painful part, not getting the answers you seek. A very sad story, but how is your family dealing with this loss?
It's sad. You can see. These are my family and friends.
These are friends and family.
These are friends and family. You understand? Hey.
You can't treat somebody's child like that.
I don't know what to say. This is my family. Everyone is here. We are all here for the school to come and do what? Explain.
Send Ghana for Eden Sem Kwamba will be a open budget survey no. One more share so what the one who Ebeshemu be pass sunset and Shemu at a nipa do one a one who edify when no equia dia. A hard junior year pan is sent to Wobia and share. So Rebecca sa a year a bino and I say one bino one more annual budget no.
Research we so mako enkono ye 9th edition na amai mako ha any eduno enum ene cover ye civil society organizations send Ghana regional and partners ahodo anamo e the research so.
Sometimes even how the executive move budget lines from one expenditure item line to the other, usually we know the executive component does that before they even get parliament approval, which is why we are saying that parliament actually needs to sit up when it comes to them playing their oversight responsibility. If you look at the composite score for Parliament and the audit service this time around, it was around 28 out of 100. So if you look at the recommendations, so they indicated that there is the need for Parliament to even begin to interrogate the pre-budget statement, which is what the finance ministry usually would provide to the public to interrogate it before they submit the executive budget proposal to Parliament. But Parliament does not play so much role in the pre-budget statement, which is why the score in that particular area, Parliament kind of the legislature fell in that particular score. Not to say they are failing, but as the report is suggesting, they are not meeting the international benchmark. So we are supposed to, if the score is 60, while we are doing around 30 or 33, it means that it's below standard. And if you are confirming that to our peers in the sub-region, the likes of Liberia and Sierra Leone were ahead of us in terms of the budget oversight. In terms of the transparency, the recommendations are saying so. The Parliament actually needs to ensure that when they interrogate public documents, as soon as possible, they should get those documents uploaded online so that it can be accessible to everybody that needs the budget to make their decision. As of now, that is not done as it's supposed to be done. So Ghana as a country will need to do more in terms of how much of our information we put out online, and not even just publishing it, but even the content, the comprehensiveness of the document. You do not have to for convenience sake, provide some information and leave out other information. As citizens, we all need the budget to make our decisions.
And where to a country director, Emma sent Ghana, or Yuri Harriet, Norma Ajiman, Eden Semsei, Etudra.
Well, it means that we have to strengthen our efforts towards promoting good governance in our country. Once we have chosen democracy as our path of governance, we need to also adhere to its very tenets. And good governance is one of them, which means that we should be very open. Our government must be very open to the very people they are leading or serving. We have to be accountable to the people, which is government must be accountable to us because they are there for us. They are using the very taxes of the people to develop the country for the people. And so if you take money from me to do anything, you have to account to me, of how you have used it. We must have value for money, for the little resources we have. We have to promote equity. We have to ensure citizens' participation. We have selected leaders, yes, but our own constitution, it guarantees for citizens to also participate in the very decisions that concerns them. And so from the scores, we are not getting to the average. In fact, we are retrogressing, and that does not show that our government is committed to promoting good governance in our country.
It's also Ediana Center for Democratic Development. CDD Ghana one munkunte bo adanedi sesika yana yenyano feme gudie mu anke wosan company for edeye nsiesia ahodo ewo nkonketwa emunene ukwa district assemblies na one mu yesika no basa Ctv Kasiebo etwa also.
Center for Democratic Development CDD Ghana for ayon hwehwemu ebukunta ede abetuja se sika ya na efi femegudie ede bano ya na district assemblies no wonu mu nhweso ye entutu ne ye wo ne basa se sika no anka wonu betumi di agensiesie ewo bebi a wotu femegudie ne bie ebiti se nkonketo ebe won nyina no anka wode bebia mpuntu nyuma bi ewo hono mo na so abanfaso ede ama wo manfo wo kire se san hwehwemu anase se veyi a wonu mu ye wato din se district mining development card ya was say mesne be said you know what chimo na wono mo no research analyst was CDD Ghana Emmanuel Yeboa when central for Ekasai.
So today we are here to launch the mining district development card project report. We have been doing this over the past 2 years, and basically what we are doing is to assess the utilization of mineral revenues that go to the subnational level and also to the district level. As we all know, mineral royalties are expected to be received by the NDF Secretariat, and then a portion of the mineral revenues goes to the Office of Administrator of Stool Lands for subnational disbursements to the traditional authorities and also to the district assemblies. On the part of the NDF revenues, a part of it, about 40% of it, is supposed to go to what the NDF Act 2016 has established, called the local management committees that are also the mining communities or the catchment areas for fiscal and impactful projects in the various district assemblies. And so we are here today to assess how these mineral revenues are being utilized at the district assembly. And as you could tell, generally we had an average score of 38%, looking at the ranking. So what we did was to put about 8 project districts on a league table and see how each of these project districts are utilizing their mineral royalties. Prestia Valley is one of them, Takwanshiayem is another, Obuasi municipality is also another, Bay North is also another. So on the whole, we had about 38% as an average score. The one who came first was Bay North, and Bay North came with about 42% out of a possible score of 100, which doesn't look good when it comes to natural resource governance at the district level. So in terms of fiscal transparency, the assembly processes to publish the receipts.
Abusia ya hu meka se no sutia wa enje aboafo enkrato ye basisia.
I know you. Your actions speak for you. So do I. We share the same goal. We aim for glory and beyond. We are being crowned. We go for greater glory together.
Morning, time to wake up.
Feel every taste, never spread. Top chocolate spread. Every day, it's our drink. Top choco instant mix. It's 3 in 1 and tasty too. Made just for you and I.
Top Choco chocolate spread. So when you pick for bread anymore, and when you come and say, now Top Choco instant mixed chocolate drink in this way, and you 3-in-1. Head to phone friend 0551 033 033. Top Choco, it's chocolatey. FDA,
Me mama kwaba ediba FA Global Group of Company Limited. Jumedia yedini kasepa ensase ho adwuma. Sa open half plot, full plot, ana asase eka bia ohia e won kran ni mantem ha de. Sa opa asase wo dodoa afienya tema enha ho pi. FA Global yensase no so edideye problem biara enni ho. Upe estate, I mean modern building, fully furnished building. Good lifetime at Abba at the amount. Sell per 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom apartment. So pay cha kwaya. Ube huye. Ewo kube chrome number 2. Muslim Cemetery Junction. Ohona newo. So pay roofing sheet ya papa. Aya quality. Saya affordable. Roofing sheets when kwana insio ta won't say. Area bar won't say. What the other boss cry and yeshi. Young kwani amount 90 years warranty. Our roofing sheets so. FA Global Group of Companies are the most trusted company in the world.
Medase, so when you were feeding no and free her, a higher CTV, Ghana's #1, ye numre no Ctv Kasiebo, and I will go swat ocean no ye chego our Facebook, YouTube, my CTV GH like share, no will be a hunia air coso, I will say I to answer no, eso. Africa Movement Assembly no akoso ewo enkrai ema be fortuna say one of the stakeholders ahudo wabobo kwan ene wo hawo ekoso ebibiman ene kwan a one betimi afaso ede asoso hawo ne bi ano empenifo ahudo na ene bepie mu dwumedie no ase
dia oye no na ni so ade hunu ne se oboa na wapekwan obefa so ama ebibiman enya kabom na atentene ne etumi aye adwuma na asomdwe etumi atrɛtrɛ akwa ebibiman nyina mu oso otumi gyina we so a ede akwanya bebre beba ama ebibiman etumpon nipa mampem ene ko dwumadie no ase na ofiri ebibrem amanamai be se aduonunum so abra Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Ghana mampanyin odikan ne ba sane ayaba Nkrumah ejina esimpie so kasa no obompanyimfo a hihye adwumadie na baso what did you just say? Titim penyimfo ya edi abibiman nyina anim no na wonom de wo pra hwehwe fa ho die ene mpuntu nemum ye ne meidie e wo se ye pre na ye hwehwe enkabomu esan se wo gidi se abibiman kabomu a enke betumi ade ho kra e wo sikasem ene ho nkro ne ba ho
people discussing the most important thing we must tackle as Africans is so inspiring. The last century was the century for African freedom, independence from colonialism. This century is the century for unity. Unity so that we can achieve our economic liberation, build our nations in a way that leaves no one behind. So for us to be discussing this most important task of African unity together with young people, but mainly with young people who form the majority of the population in the African world, speaks volumes.
Orakumineido founding chair emedwumedie no ono nso ekasa bi kire se ese ewose ebibiman enkanka ne mabunu no ede wonu ani si so obehwe kwan a omso betimi afaso aye won kakra abo abibiman ponto sanse empanyifo ededa da ebibiman ahodo no nyina no dodo no a enim nia ekoso enampo. Firstly,
I should say that this movement started in 2016 effectively, and it has been really positive to see that old people like me, you can see I got gray hair here, started it, but it's now led and driven by young people. I think the reality is that many of our political leaders are of a generation that is out of touch with what Africa needs. They are still stuck in the past. They are far too focused on their own interests, their family's interests, their own clan or friends' interests. And right now, we have to say that Africa does not stand a chance to deal with the challenges that we face in the world unless we push for maximum unity across the continent. What unity are we talking about? We want maximum social integration, economic integration, political integration, environmental integration, and so on.
Ora Mohammed Lamin Seidikan, a founding advisor, Emma African Rising, ononso ekase bichire se. Bibi mai kabum na wochumi yi ade bi enchiwa show anasa akwanside no oyi na kwa na fe bi mai etimi etisi kwemu toten na obua ema mpuntu etimi gina ne naiso.
Africa have lost, and Africa have been struggling with a lot of challenges. Being it, the poor governance systems that we have seen in different countries, that country presidents change constitutions to stay in power. We've seen military takeovers across Africa because of poor governance and poor treatment of citizens and violation of rights. We've seen, Africans, being trafficked. Africans been struggling with the effects of climate crisis, that they have not been the creators of it, but the West and the global powers that have been fueling the fossil fuel industry, that have been destroying the environment. We've seen many other challenges that Africans are faced with. But in order for us to tackle these challenges as Africans, we must first unite our forces. We must first unite the Africa as a continent, as a federal government that will be able to deal with issues.
Ebusia yenkopie mo eye bono mantemo na eho ena banda mensini krache Emmanuel Akon ejina nananu manemu eneni manfo anemu wadi asida piesie pa edi amama mpeni adodankwa ekufuado ene machines ahodoa na se emfidi ahodoa wadi yi akwan ewo wo mensini ho ede ama wono mu wasanso akyere neni so. Ochire se banda mensini nso ensa ka wonu mu chefa eba no impunto asase machines ahodoa a abanchiche ye ya wonu mu disiesie akwantempo ahodoa so no wonu mu de aba beka wonsa ya enisode hunu nina enese wonu betumi esiesie akwantempo ahodoa no eso akwan atete apansam nina no wonu mu aye ni ye mensini krachi wabra wone odene hu kosia pia Ctv amane boni ejeje nkomo no ene wochire se ene ni je kese pasanse we ebetumi aboa ama akwan atete pansem ni nano ayeye
foni aji efisem pepebre na yehwe se yekwana eho na adwane fri eba eho ena nyo bebre efri beba no eho ase uhwe ye mantam a eye banna hanuma eye banna gbawo eye banna dopofie banna makala eni banna kabrono ni kro etwa ne ho hia nyina ukọ banna wo watu banna dobo ha sa kono freedom dobo ekobanda koji dimol ni koji a ofri hono Sabia Johnson to Boasi any other ekwana ewo banaman mu me kind of kre sa adia nana Lateefa Akuffo adia yeye sa adia Dr. Mamudu Bawumia a oye Ghana mampanyi bedachi a osanye Frakatuni ema MPP ema yokoi oboye suye mo adia ebetumi adia da omuase ane se ye ebetu aba ema Dr. Mamudu Bawumia na wantumi ebetu aso china da ya yebema machi ya start ebe ya adwuma efese yebema yakokotofo a yebeba begum na astati aya adwuma sina be ya banaman ebenya ne nkoso ene yetumi anya bandafo a omunim kaka 30 people yakotire no mu a umba beje sa adwumaji amaye ne emika kire omu se nyeme ya adwum omanya adwuma de ne aka hu ne se esese omu yiri omu hu eya adwuma no yie eboaye eka ye hu tine be ya yekwana asai no ye betumi anya adia ya adwuma se ne esifata
Enochri ena parliamentary candidate ya wo banda Joel Dankwa ekire se akwaya etete pansam ye ni na wo banda mpotemu ho no eye NPP aban ena ayama wo no
bana ye nyina yatena bana che ye hu se de na bana man ya kwan esitie sabe ya papa si boy no mo ne alaji sala no mo ne wo mo kasa ne atiti mu nyina na mu hu kasa na ne lodu yen e de ye kono ye lodu ba yire kum ni a lodu nkate agum ni a lodu kura agum ye wia na nipa ye dai atena so enye sa me ba jo medio enye sa ene ye lodu nkate ne ba yire fa nipa kan ho biem ene ka lodu kura ama nipa tena kura no so biem ene MPP ada Roma e kwan bi a main road wa eliri to banabia no ya go Sokotare sesei diaka eye mantem kwan aye Bana Central kwan e kwan aye free Sabia Junction eko Bana Bima enene nachi e free Sabia Junction eko dobo eko pinko yen enu kwan ne kwan aka enye sa enne nyamencha di MPP aban di mfidie yaba MPP aban di mfidie yaba enne mfidie no astati a eba basa de hia dia yikwan ni nyina baba bedru Bana sasi so enti mu amu Bana Central Africa Bruno ubedru kanka no aba afasase no abepie gbawo no afugbawo no akọ dompofie ufi dompofie na akọ sama ufi dompofie na akọ makala sa kwa ni nyina ya ba be yi ni nyina
emperwanyi senti ati se ewo enfifi mantemu nam so MNA aya Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana PPAG4 ene aya wofo ya wokwapro enfifi mantemu aya Cape Coast atena se ebie niam ebie ni so e de akere wonum se woma weni enko wo mofra no ehu yie papa Ctv Kasiebo eto also
Joyce Kokume a project coordinator with PPAG ano what in semi to ja wapana wono mokocheche sanitary pads ahodo condoms any adokodoko de ya wodema emaya no ene wode ensem to ho edema wofo se wosre wonumuntu emaya no fo se de be no ya hwe yie pa e wo mranti anase emema no enhu na wonumu ankwanko fampewanyi se bia amafia yade bi nso ebedi echire
ya pese parents no mo weni nya de enko mo ma ho Sisiano, me widen say, men are my wood, and sending enough for no more yet, or mark of 5 boys, your man 20 cities, or maybe. So we shall not to review school or university. Scout Benano is more than that 20 cities. And then cities the idea. Young fine, into Niyama and new way, ma'am, into the Pamucho, your percent child marriage, and ending, Papo. A percent ending Cape Coast and Central region in general. In our phone, yes, I did some back, and the wire I love you. But I can't share your mouth. Living now, so people catch on our here. And maybe I did from man.
Anoche ena kwapo hene na nakwesi mesa ya wotoso mienu ekyerese empewanyi sani die eti se pa ewo wono moma ntemu ho na nhyehyɛ ya wodo ampanifo de egu aponso ede ku etie ni nano ya na awofo ni bi esoritia
ashambrede se lobo trade ye pere bo hu because the you know anafa tuma no so onya film odi lie but other baby no ama me fu po won mapa da me mane yeda onye dima o sa ba din tina abofra no wa so na after 9 o'clock ya ma mko faction na ya bolaka no wa se mo na wa the baby no wa so na horoba enti me feel that na we are doing our best say ebe ma from no work through one share o sa that was the one am we tumna wa yi enti akwa kakra anya so na no yeda to wa yedi su employees sa no kwane enti masre amamefo no the na yes ma ama wo ba no wetie ama da chi bi waso eti wo ba no hu mfaso kakra enti masre wa amamefo a won pene ma da me embrei onye ma no masre wa pa na ye bon pa da ya ko ma ya mo de me tina
Anoche kwapo ohene yere Mrs. Heidi Ejui echere di ntia wode sanitary towels ahodoɔ no ɛbɛkyɛ maya.
Last time when I make money from there, this cattle sanitary pad. Nti ma bada ma ko no there afi kwapo wozi hona afɛhyɛ ɔte dem. Motobi na mezaba mbabu no bebre wɔ hɔ a woni ska wode to. Dam sanitary pad no. Nti mezi create awareness ama parents no so wana mba no. Tam no so de wo gu wansa wetum wa abo ho no wa to bia mo. Na afi so woni sa na wa dos no de. Na kan parents na mo mba family ska ma wan to bia. Obo no boyfriend wo there. O mani ska no from there. O di mani so am fa ma no pa. O ngbe ye ma dam woni sa na bantina. Dan sanitary pad no be there. Educate awareness for parents. Ewe tu mo to bia ma. No for them akwanya so you about no for them. Yes sir. My family no na suzu bia da one. Bia obaka je mun there so no won mo yen ni ampa. Wanya kasa do din kancho mo. My family so don wona ya nkofo.
Sabeye na ahunidiensem afa nintumapa efra intinadishia ewo tema community 5 ye wono mu ewo Kaiser abato empeswa so wotrempen force wosre eye tankasefo amre bi etwemu nanka wono mu ye adwuma hwese ye fiefie mu ene ye montene so ninano ebeye kama no mpenifo nsa ankofa safo no emre bio sanse ene no efi eye amene wo me.
Kwasafu dwuma bi a woyɛ empotem ho na assembly member editor dwase nansen yarwa bebre wo no bank betumi abɔ ho ban senkomanfo ebefa ahonidie na wama no ayɛ won mahiade a wose kane no ya aban no ede nsamansaman ebaaye no na eboa pa ema ahonidie da de sense obi asuro san hwe ya nsamansaman ba obɛkyene gunanimu ase nanso ne ya woni honti ama obi aye na de basa
ye nyi betu konfa na nyese ne ba konfa sesi na akoye bola station home na Johnson kwa oke kanso anom bechiwari especially market ni no first na market aye ton toast ko bibia obenya ba sesi adani hotel adani efiefie anko 40 ho enti won so omonye ni clean oko konfa mu sesi market ni sesi a ebe ho time eso first na ntisa enti bi sama na omoka say sama no mu ndika ho konfa market first na ye kasa na tema ye neat no ewo ye team no na se de esi ahunidi a ye enu ti na matema ye tema se ye tu afra na obi a ye de ope efi se oni obi a ebe control no se ye say assembly man kwa koka say ade a wudi go obi tumi fa na bola no de begu gotem assembly man ka say hey de wo ye enye oh wo ye kwan obetu fun sesi a enti no yensesa sa ye suban no.
Those time we have the town council people that if they are coming, realize that we'll be running away. As soon as you hear town council is coming, if you have rubbish in your room, you will be gathering it. And those people, when they get you, they will find you and you have to pay a certain sum of money.
Kaiser electoral area Christian de Lapeto ede etudwase asemi woni assembly no ekonhye mo bedwendwen ho mo kwampo betumi afa so den samansaman dwumede asan ya ba mpotem ho biem se de be ya efin ya ekumomanfo no ano be brase
senia ebema amudidie ebe koso ewo ye potempote efi se amudidie ankoso wo ye potempote na ede yade beba ena enye yade nko a esan de how be so ebeba intimate can say yes now this is the first I have done in my electoral area as an assemblyman and BGD say ye koye nim no ye be koso atoaso na ama efini atantadia ekoso community smart ye wo me wa ha ye tete me wa ha and I mean say na 25 net here any baby 25 I dey good into BGD pa say the law enforcement agencies, the environmental for any in the account. Almost that is almost summer, because if you say Mikai, we call a bring as a summer for. Into almost as yes, almost yes, as a summer.
Ora wagina mu NDC amanyoko no din mu April Tema West abato empesua no akonwa lawyer James Enu ede twudwase nansen saa kwasafo honhom no a eboa ma manfo ka won ho bom ye kwasafo dwuma no awuo sense abaye atisue edre moden ene abura a wobo menti obi ampese obetu no acha aboa o meyin puntu biem na wo kire se kwasafo dwuma clean up exercise de wabe obekọ so aya kopem se botem honum ebeye fine.
We need a communal spirit to build the community and to ensure that we get everybody on board. And for me, one of the things I'm going to do, if by the grace of God I become the MP, is to make sure that we embark on regular cleanup exercise. It will be called the MP's cleanup exercise across the whole constituency. And we'll do this in every 3 months. Every 3 months, there's going to be a mega cleanup exercise across the whole constituency, sponsored by the MP, which will be Lawyer James Enu's MP-sponsored cleanup exercise. And I think that will go a long way to boost the communal spirit. Apart from that, I think that the lack of communal spirit has also been contributed by lack of goodwill from our leadership. I believe that if you are a leader, you should be able to have regular engagement with your people. And one of the things we are going to do regularly is town hall meetings to engage the people, to discuss their concerns, to discuss their problems, and together we'll deliberate and see the way forward in solving or bringing solutions to these problems that they have.
I was not there to saw a JNSM. Yatwaso ewodwedie ensem emudiana eye vehicle and accessories union of Ghana for ye yetwanitia se vadu wono mo ekyere se eneno import duty no ne bono akosoro ye papa namso ema wonwuma egu.
Rob Bernard and Trakwa Eden Semi to Jabrano Ctv Nsentro 4 Etwetwe nkomo enode eye mfato humpo se Kanera 4 ene Toyota Highlander na nebo 200,000 Ghana cedi pe na so se nebo kwa akosoro no 600,000 wunkita bia wunya binto na eno kra benya bia to na bra wabre mu no nya asem ketwa eno se ho sobo nyina wode bebo import duties esanse se no wo kra enyo fram no ne na wo kwa akoyi e wo port wa nebo den no na ho sobo nyina wode bebo Toyota assembling plant wo my Ghana esan say free base mfie nan ni a wo share dwumeku anaso se dwumeku e ka se bo kwa na ekosoro wo my Ghana nti wo beka sample a nhyeda amaso amome
abre na ye 2020 me fancy the year 2020 ne kwa na car a ye Toyota Corolla ana se ye friend say Toyota Highlander ana se Toyota RAV4 sa cars me ensen ne mu bie no horma na ye top 200,000 a year SUV 4x4 ne bie no ho na ye top ye top 400 that time no say metumi akai ne year na Toyota Corolla a year 2014 2015 na ye tumi ton 55 60 dia fan say yes then free kra no na ye betumi aton no be 70,000 sabre no na Toyota RAV4 dia na fe par na betumi aton 85,000 Toyota Highlander na ye 120 140 dia fe par na betumi aton be say 180 but ene ya me no kase assemblies na bana me de me hunu se omampani na nka de tiri mo po ne se opese ka abo eyefo ewo man mu na Ghana fo adwumayefo a omuhia ka ede adi wo dwuma no atumi anya cars ne bi ede ibisa adwuma no enu nti ezunsanso enam omampani kokofa asa ade ma no de bai
Rantrakwa esan to aso ede adesede to Ghana fo anim se okoto cars na ne boa ye de a ema won fa ho sobo ema won ma edi cars ho dwumadi ananse wodi cars ho dwa cardeles esan se free won mas nemom import duties ane boa ye den enti ana cars sobo ehura kwosoro sa omenimo
edi amase se Ghana fo ehunu se ese omo de sobo ni nyina ede boka tonfo ananse use cardeles se ye na ebia ye pemfa so dodo nti na yasoa ebo edi agu ye ka so enso enye sa enetie opani me de se wa ba so ba baby sa ansem we Me was a paper where a damn enemy. Me we are member copy now and so quite watching. A friend is saying a Kia Grandbed bus a 2011. So who share import duty? Import duty near 51,802. And import VAT a year 172,962. And also processing fee and the fee in ho ECOWAS levy also 5,180.20. And also vehicle certification and no or a 0.50. Vehicle examination fee a 10,360.41. And also network charges VAT and no a 3,936.19. And also network charge COVID-19 health and no 39.36.
Afe amahudo ensem. Yako amahudo ensem emudiana enenu mpenifo ede ababetuja wonu mchese weno eye enhwehwemu ene enkontebo a wonu maye ya wode etuja wokyerese ebimadodo na enene wonu GDP no afie bia no ya na wonu esre ekiripo enum na wonu mchese ni na ejina wiemu nsachaye ensem eso na eye reporter enanu dwade ya ebaaye no ena wonu ekuche nsem ye ede atumu enamso ema World Meteorological Organization fonso echra eya bibiman bebre na budget ya wonum editu honomo edihwe ewiemu nsachiraye ensem no ya na emu 9% eko ententem pa leso sabre wonum chese eneyi wo hwe eya ebibiman na se Africa sabre yi de eye hottest years pa ya wonum ekuche nsem we ede ato report so na wonum che eya bibiman aban ni na se wonum hwe se obetimi aboa won ho adiesie ye papa ne titu ene wonmu meteorological services no woni aban no ebedi ensa wo so se de beye na bibi ebampo na weyi wo maso 310 no wetimi ahwe de obetimi aye ede afa ho esense wo betena ho no mu aye nhwe han a na enya bawi anase enya siewie no na ne sikase ya ena ekoso ne sentimpenifo etrese report ya ebaye no emu ensuyire edosu ye papa United Nations for ena ese wose ukoma limani mu a sabre embenifo etrese enipa beyese 47,000 ena ensuyire aha wonu madwin ye papa ne senti wonu muso bo wo homoden sasa de no wobetimi esi anokwan wonu muso a ebre ye bie aman bie eye Zambia wonu so eka ho a enfie pore edio 9 a wonu mu de wa bre wiemu nsachira yensem ho saa ne senti emperifo de report yi aba montene so se aban ahodo ya wonu mu we bibiman no wonya hweye no wontoto wone meyie ma wonye nhwe han entena ho akopem se ade no ebesi anase ebeben wonu mu Kasiebo no esi dwedia no eto also enumere musomfo ye me Lateefa Akuffo madawase amamo enisha makrao
Ctv, Ghana's #1